There are a few questions that don't just keep a conversation going, they quietly turn a woman on in her mind. You know that moment, my friend. You're talking to her, the vibe is good, the eye contact is there, and then it hits that silent point. You feel there's something deeper sitting between you, but you don't know what to say next, without sounding boring, needy, or like every other guy she has met. So you go back to safe small talk, and you can literally feel the spark cool down. Most men think attraction comes from the perfect line or the perfect joke. It doesn't. With a grown woman, especially in her 40s or 50s, attraction comes from how you make her open up. How you make her feel seen as a woman, not just looked at. The right questions do that. They pull her out of autopilot, make her reflect, and make her associate that feeling of aliveness with you. This is where Stoicism meets female psychology. Instead of performing, you stay calm, present, grounded, and you use smart questions to draw out her mind, her memories, her secret desires, and her future. In this video, I'm going to give you specific questions women love to answer, and show you why they build instant emotional heat when you ask them the right way. Let's get into it. Number 1. Unlock her hidden desire. My friend, let's talk about the kind of question that doesn't just make her think, it makes her feel. And when you make a woman feel, especially a grown woman in her 40s or 50s, you activate a part of her she doesn't show to just anyone. You unlock the desire she keeps protected under caution, experience, and emotional discipline. The question you use here is simple. What's something you've always wanted to try, but never have? Most men underestimate how powerful this is. They think it's a casual question about hobbies or bucket lists. But women don't answer this on the surface. They answer from imagination, from possibility, from the part of their mind that only wakes up when she feels safe around a man. Let me ground this with something real. There's a man named Robert, 56, living in Missouri. Solid guy, runs his own plumbing business, keeps to himself. After his divorce, his confidence took a hit. Dating felt foreign. He meets a woman named Melissa, 53, a school administrator, elegant, intelligent, but guarded. The connection is there, but he doesn't know how to take it deeper without sounding like he's interviewing her. One evening, over dinner, instead of asking the typical, "So what do you like to do?" he leans back, slows down his voice and asks, "So tell me, what's something you've always wanted to try but just haven't yet?" Melissa pauses, not because she's confused, but because no one has asked her that in years. She looks away for a second, smiles to herself, and her entire energy shifts. She starts talking about wanting to travel alone, about learning photography, about doing something creative now that her kids are grown. And as she speaks, her tone gets warmer, her posture relaxes, her eyes soften. Why? Because she's imagining a version of herself she hasn't lived yet. And guess who's sitting right in front of her while she's imagining it? Robert. This is what the mind does. It anchors emotions to the person who triggers them. When she feels expansion, curiosity, hope, possibility, those feelings get tied to you. Women love this question because it reaches beyond the surface and taps into her unlived desires. Every woman has them, the things she postponed, the adventures she never took, the version of herself she pushed aside for responsibility, career, family, or past relationships. And here's the deeper layer. When a woman talks about what she wants to try, she's also telling you what kind of man she hopes to share life with. A man who listens, who sees her, who doesn't judge her dreams, who brings out the part of her that still wants to grow. Now let me be very clear, you must ask this question calmly. Not excited, not overeager, not like you're trying to perform. You ask it like a grounded man who's genuinely curious. Women can feel the difference instantly. When you ask it right, you bypass her logic and go straight to her feminine imagination. That's where attraction is born, Not in jokes, not in compliments, but in the emotional space you create. So, here's your move, my friend. Use this question when the vibe is warm, when she feels relaxed, when conversation is flowing. Make eye contact, slow down, let silence work for you. And ask, and watch her open. If you've ever seen a woman light up when she talks about the life she still wants to live, drop a comment saying, I unlock desire. Stay with me, because number 2 goes even deeper into her emotional world. And it's one most men never even think to ask. Number 2. Tap into her deepest joy. All right, my friend. Let's slow this down and go deeper. If the first question wakes up her hidden desires, this second one opens the door to her heart. Women don't fall for a man because he's loud, impressive, or performs like he's trying to win a competition. They fall when he knows how to reach the quiet places inside them, the places they don't often talk about, even with people close to them. And the question that gets you there is simple. What's the most meaningful part of your day? Most men ask, how was your day? But that question leads to autopilot answers. Good, busy, fine, same as usual, meaningless. Surface level. Dead conversation. But when you ask about the most meaningful part of her day, you force her to look inward instead of outward. You make her scan for emotion, not activity. You invite her to share the moment that actually fed her soul, not the one that filled her schedule. This is where Stoicism lines up perfectly. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Women live this truth more deeply than men realize. When she reflects on what meant something to her today, she's reconnecting with the thoughts, moments, and experiences that anchor her happiness. And when you're the man who prompts that reflection, she associates that emotional clarity with you. Think about what this question actually reveals. When she tells you the most meaningful part of her day, she's telling you what brings her peace. She's telling you where she feels alive. She's telling you what nurtures her mind, her spirit, her femininity. She's telling you how she restores herself. She's telling you what she values most deeply. And trust me, most women rarely get to talk about this. Life for a grown woman, kids aging, parents, career responsibilities, emotional labor, leaves almost no space for someone to ask, what fed your soul today? When you ask it, you stand out instantly because you're not chasing excitement, you're inviting sincerity. Here's the psychological magic behind it. Women bond through emotional expression, men bond through presence. This question blends both. You give presence by listening calmly. She gives emotion by sharing something personal. Attraction happens in the middle. And here's another layer most men overlook. When she tells you what's meaningful, she also reveals what she's missing. If the most meaningful part of her day is her morning coffee alone, that tells you she's starved for peace. If it's time with her dog, she's craving simple affection. If it's the gym, she's craving control and strength. If it's a quiet drive home, she's craving freedom from noise. If it's a moment of laughter with a coworker, she's craving levity. You're not analyzing her, you're listening. But that listening gives you wisdom that other men never reach. And here's where the Stoic mindset comes in again. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This question is exactly that in action. You're not trying to impress her. You're giving her space to uncover herself, and that makes you stand out more than any performance ever could. Ask this question when the energy feels calm, not rushed. When she's relaxed, not guarded. And when she answers, don't interrupt. Don't dive into your own story. Let her linger in the moment she's describing. Women open when a man gives them space to feel. If you've ever seen a woman soften when she talks about something meaningful to her, drop a comment saying, "I hear deeply. Stick with me." because the real shift starts once you understand how to reach the part of her she rarely shows anyone. 3. Discover what makes her feel safe. My friend, let's get honest about something most men overlook. Attraction doesn't grow in excitement. It grows in safety. Not the protect her from danger kind of safety, the emotional safety that lets a woman breathe around you. When a woman feels safe, she relaxes. When she relaxes, she opens. And when she opens, attraction flows naturally. The question that unlocks this part of her is simple but powerful. What kind of people do you feel most comfortable around? Now, listen closely. She's not just telling you the types of people she likes. She's revealing the energy she trusts, the energy she lets close, the energy she can be fully herself with. Let me show you how this plays out with someone real. There's a man named Jonathan, 54, living in Colorado. Works in IT, steady guy, divorced for a few years. He meets a woman named Linda, 51, through a hiking club. She's warm, but cautious. You can tell she's been through enough to keep her guard slightly raised. One afternoon after a hike, they sit outside a small cafe, sunlight hitting just right. Jonathan wants to know her better without sounding intrusive, so he leans into the moment and asks, "So, what kind of people do you feel most comfortable around?" Linda pauses, then smiles. She talks about liking calm energy, people who don't talk over her, people who show consistency, people who listen before reacting. She mentions she can't stand pushy personalities or men who make everything a performance. As she speaks, Jonathan realizes she's not describing her friends. She's describing the emotional environment that makes her feel safe as a woman. And here's the subtle magic. When a woman answers this question, she's unconsciously comparing you to her description. If your energy matches even a few parts of what she values her comfort with, you grows instantly, not because you said the right thing, but because you created the right emotional space. Women in their 40s, 50s and 60s don't have time for chaos. They don't want to manage a man's mood, decode unclear intentions, or deal with emotional instability. What they crave is calm strength. A man who doesn't shake under pressure, doesn't overreact, doesn't compete for attention, and doesn't need to dominate the conversation. When you ask this question, you're communicating, "I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to understand you." That alone separates you from 90% of men she meets. But let's go deeper. This question reveals more than her preferences. It reveals her past pain. If she mentions people who don't judge quickly, she's been judged. People who stay consistent, she's experienced inconsistency. People who listen, she's been ignored. People who stay calm, she's dealt with emotional chaos. These are not just answers. These are emotional breadcrumbs. They tell you how to speak to her, how to show up, and how to build the kind of connection she doesn't forget. And here's what Jonathan noticed. When he simply listened, really listened, Linda relaxed. Her shoulders dropped. Her face softened. She leaned in slightly without even noticing. That's attraction built through emotional safety, not game. If you've ever seen a woman open up the moment she feels safe around you, drop a comment saying, "I bring calm." Stay with me, because there's a deeper emotional layer that most men never tap into, and once you understand it, every conversation changes. Number 4. Awaken her secret confidence. My friend, here's something most men never realize. Every woman carries a part of herself she's proud of, yet rarely talks about. Not because she's shy, not because she lacks confidence, but because the world constantly tells women to downplay their strength, their resilience, their achievements, their intelligence. And when you're the man who brings that part of her to the surface, you create a connection no superficial compliment can touch. The question that unlocks this deeper side is this. What's something about yourself you're proud of, but rarely talk about? Now stay with me, because this isn't a casual question. This cuts through the noise. This invites her to reveal the part of herself she usually keeps tucked away, her perseverance, her growth, her hidden talents, or the battles she quietly won without applause. When you ask this, you awaken her secret confidence, and once that happens, she feels more feminine, more alive, and more open around you. Let me explain why this works with a little Stoic insight. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts," meaning when she speaks about something she's proud of, she steps into a stronger version of herself. She reconnects with her capability, her competence, her identity. She feels herself rise. And, because you're the man who pulled that out of her, she associates that elevated feeling with you. That's emotional anchoring at its finest, subtle, deep, powerful. But here's the part most men miss. When she shares something she's proud of, she's also revealing her values. A woman who's proud of raising her kids alone values loyalty and sacrifice. A woman who's proud of her career growth values discipline and ambition. A woman proud of surviving a hard chapter values resilience. A woman proud of her creativity values passion and expression. And when a man listens without interrupting, without turning the conversation back to himself, without minimizing her achievement, she feels profoundly seen. Seeing a woman's depth is far more seductive than seeing her beauty. And here's where the emotional magic happens. When she feels seen for her strength, her guard drops. When her guard drops, her femininity rises. When her femininity rises, attraction becomes effortless. It's not your charm. It's not your jokes. It's not your compliments. It's your presence. The calm, grounded presence that lets her show a part of herself she usually hides. This question also reveals how she wants to be appreciated. If she lights up when talking about her growth, she wants a man who notices effort. If she glows when talking about something creative, she wants a man who appreciates expression. If she becomes emotional when sharing a struggle she overcame, she wants a man who understands emotional strength, not just physical strength. You're not trying to decode her. You're simply listening, and women fall for the man who listens with intention. Now, my friend, before we move forward, let me say this clearly. If you want to master this level of connection, the kind that blends Stoic presence with real psychological insight, join the membership. That's where I break down the deeper techniques you can't get in these public videos. If you've ever seen a woman open up the moment she feels recognized for who she truly is, drop a comment saying, "I see deeply." Stay with me, because the next shift in her attraction comes from something far more subtle than confidence, and most men never tap into it. Number 5. Touch her inner peace. My friend, if you really want to understand women, especially women in their 40s, 50s and 60s, you need to understand this simple truth. A woman's attraction grows fastest when she feels calm around a man. Not excited, not overwhelmed, calm. Peace is the doorway to her feminine softness, and the right question can open that doorway instantly. The question you use here is this: what's something that instantly relaxes you or brings you peace? Sounds simple, but don't underestimate it. When you ask a woman about what calms her, you pull her attention inward into the gentle feminine part of herself that often gets buried under responsibility, stress, and emotional noise. You're not asking about her tasks. You're asking about her rest. And that alone makes you stand out. Let me show you how powerful this question becomes when used by the right kind of man. There's a guy named Greg, 57, living in Arizona. Divorced, steady job, good income, but his dating life felt flat. He kept choosing women who seemed interested at first, then slowly drifted. When he met a woman named Sharon, 54, at a local art walk, he decided to try a different approach, one rooted not in charm but presence. After they talked about travel and work, he asked her, "So tell me, what instantly relaxes you? What brings you real peace?" Sharon froze for a moment, not in discomfort, but in surprise. No one had asked her that in years. She started talking about her early morning walks before anyone else wakes up. The smell of rain, taking long baths with music, sitting quietly with a book and a blanket, cooking slow meals on Sundays. As she described these moments, something subtle happened. Her voice softened, her posture relaxed, her face warmed. Her guard dropped without either of them forcing anything. Why? Because she entered the emotional space where she feels most like herself. Here's the deeper part. When a woman reconnects with her inner peace while sitting across from you, her mind subconsciously links that calm to your presence. This is attraction built through emotional grounding, not game. Women don't fall for the man who raises their adrenaline. They fall for the man who lowers their defenses. And this question does exactly that. Greg later told a friend something simple but powerful. When she talked about her peaceful moments, I felt like I saw the real her, not the busy version, not the polite version, but the soft version. That's the version of her you want to reach. That feminine softness that makes her feel close without even realizing why. Here's another thing men overlook. When she tells you what relaxes her, she's also telling you what overwhelms her. If she says nature relaxes, her stress drains her. If she says quiet moments relax, her noise exhausts her. If she says long baths relax, her constant demands suffocate her. If she says slow mornings relax, her chaotic schedules burn her out. You now understand her emotional triggers without asking directly. Most men rush women. They move too fast, talk too loud, try too hard. They bring tension, not peace. But you're learning how to do the opposite, how to steady her, how to slow her breath, how to make her feel safe without a single touch. If you've ever seen a woman soften just because she felt calm around you, drop a comment saying, "I bring peace." Don't go anywhere. There's another layer of connection most men never reach, and it changes everything once you see it. Pull her toward her future. My friend, here's something most men never understand. A woman becomes most attracted to the man who makes her feel something about her future, not just her present. Women live forward. Their hearts lean toward possibility, direction, meaning, and the right question can pull her right into that emotional space. The question you want here is simple but incredibly deep. What's something you look forward to in the future? When you ask this, you're doing more than making conversation. You're inviting her to step into her vision, her hope, her direction, her why. And women feel a powerful emotional shift when a man shows interest in the life they're becoming, not just the life they currently live. And this lines up perfectly with Stoic thinking. Marcus Aurelius said, "Give yourself to the present, but let your actions aim at the future." Women naturally do this. They feel now, but they dream ahead. Most men, though, never ask them about the path their heart is trying to walk. When you ask this question, here's what really happens inside her. She reveals what she desires long-term. She reveals the kind of life she wants to build. She reveals the emotional world she's moving toward. She reveals the kind of partner that would fit into that world. And while she's talking, she's subconsciously checking one thing. Does this man's energy align with the future I want? That's why this question is so powerful. You're not pushing. You're not performing. You're not trying to prove anything. You're simply giving her space to dream, and she can feel the calm confidence behind that. Let's break down how this works emotionally. If she talks about travel, she craves adventure. If she talks about stability, she craves security. If she talks about family, she craves connection. If she talks about career or creativity, she craves growth. If she talks about slowing down, she craves peace. Women don't randomly list future desires. They reveal the emotional life they want to live. And here's the deeper magic most men miss. As she describes that future, her emotions start rising. Hope, joy, excitement, longing. Her mind paints pictures. Her body relaxes. Her feminine energy expands. And because you are the one asking the question, Her nervous system automatically links those emotions to your presence. This is attraction without effort. This is connection without pressure. This is intimacy without forcing intimacy. Stoics also taught that we should never tie ourselves to hopes we cannot control, but we should understand the direction of our